Shabbat Shalom and welcome everyone. It's so wonderful to be celebrating Shabbat with all of you that are here and also with everyone joining us online this evening. Our service begins on page 5 in the red Sidur Lev Shalem, the book that looks just like this, page 5. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Kadosh Baruch Hu, Orchem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMelachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Kadosh Baruch Hu, Zeitchem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMelachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn now to page 10, Yedid Nefesh. And we turn now to L'chun Aranana, page 11. Let us go and sing to Adonai. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for, literally. L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'Adonai. L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'Adonai. Nadia, Nadia, Litzor Yishenu, Nekad Ma'afana Betoda. Nadia, Nadia, Litzor Yishenu, Bizmirat Nadia Lo. L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'Adonai. L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'Adonai. L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'Adonai. L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'chun Aranana, L'Adonai.
And we turn to page 20 at the caret towards the middle of the page. Romamu.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Behishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Behishtachavu Lehar Kodsho.
Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Adonai Eloheinu Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu
lehar kodsho.
And we turn now to page 23, L'chadodi.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. La 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litchi la 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor ha'bracha, merosh mitkedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila la 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Hidoreri, ki ba'orech u'miori, uri shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Yaminu smol tifrotzi, ve'et Adonai ta'aritzi, al yad ish ben partzi, ve'nismecha v'nanki la 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela.
We rise and we turn towards the door. As we just take a moment to enter into this moment of Shabbat, we take a deep breath and release from ourselves all the stresses and anxieties, all the pain, anything that has been holding us back in the week that's passed. And we enter into a new moment, a moment of celebration, a moment of joy and peace and calm, a moment of Shabbat.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam v'simcha u'b'tola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. La 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela.
And we are seated as we turn to the Psalm for Shabbat, page 27.
Where did you go? Tov lehodot l'Adonai u'zamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai u'zamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid b'bokar chesdecha ve'emunatcha b'leilot. Lehagid b'bokar כחסדך, באמונתך בלילות.
טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון.
טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות. עוד ינובון בספר דשנים ונעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולה תבוא.
Page 29.
מקולות מים רבים אדירים, משברי ים אדיר במרום אדוני, עדותיך נאמנו מאוד, לביתך נא בקודש אדוני לאורך ימים.
Mourners and those observing a yard site, rise at this time and join with me in the words of Kaddish found on page 30. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divara kerutei ve'amalich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'zaman kariv ve'imeru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach. Le'alam ul'olmei ulmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpawar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru. Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimeromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshevei tevel, ve'imeru.
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Noah, so exciting to celebrate with you and your family this special evening, and looking forward to even more later this evening and then tomorrow morning while you rock it. This Shabbat of your bar mitzvah, the same Torah portion that I had in my bar mitzvah, just one of many things that you and I have in common. I also want to thank everyone for joining us in person, as well as all of those joining us online. Stephen, Barbara, Myra, and so many others know that your presence is felt with all of us here in the sanctuary. This Shabbat, we read Parshat Va'et Hanan. It's known as Shabbat Nachamu, which means the Sabbath of Comfort, because this is the Shabbat that follows the most devastating and sad day in the Jewish calendar, which happened to be this past Sunday, where you commemorate the ancient destruction of the temples of the Jewish people. And so this is a time of comfort, but I want to let you know, today actually, the day that's concluding is also a very special day on the Jewish calendar. That this is a minor holiday, but it is the equivalent of Jewish Valentine's Day, if there is such a thing, was today. Right? The Jewish holiday of love, Tu B'Av, is a day that dates back to ancient times when the Israelites from different tribes would meet one another, and there would be, everyone would dress in white and frolic in the fields, and people would go out and find true love. And it's an interesting thing because this has become the celebration of love in modern day Israel. If you go there, this is when everyone's selling chocolates and cards and flowers and all the other things that we come to associate with February here in the States. But it also reflects something about what Judaism teaches us, which is that it is actually a commandment, a mitzvah, to love. Which seems like a peculiar thing because actually, right, God should be legislating how we feel. That seems so far-fetched. And how do we fulfill that? Right? We don't necessarily love and enjoy the company of every person, right? It's only natural. There are lots of people that we do love, right? It's very easy to enjoy our bar mitzvah boy Noah's company, but it's not always easy to enjoy everybody's company. And in our portion today that we read, we have the language of the Shema and the Ve'ahavta paragraph. And Ve'ahavta literally means, and you shall love. Now that's talking about loving God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. But that too isn't necessarily an easy thing, because sometimes God is really frustrating. And elsewhere in the Torah, we have other commandments like ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, to love your neighbor as yourself. What could this mean? Because surely the Torah is not expecting us to have romantic, loving feelings about every person or about God at every moment. And so one of the clues is that we're asked to love God with all of our heart, with all of our soul, and with all of our might. And the rabbis interpret this for us, and they say, what does this mean? To love God with all of our heart means with all of our intellect, with all of our wisdom, with all of our emotion, with all of what we can direct and control and focus on, that we are supposed to use that in an attribute and an aspect of expressing love. But then we're also supposed to love God with all of our soul, which means even when things don't go so well and our soul is hurt, we continue to love God. And then we have with all of our might. And the rabbis say this means with our resources, with our time, with our finances, that we dedicate ourselves towards holiness and towards the things that God would want us to do, and that are therefore expressions of love of God. And that part of what this teaches us, and what the ancient rabbis taught us about love, is that love isn't just something that happens to us, but it is actually something that we direct ourselves toward. That when we go out into the world with an orientation that is loving, when we open ourselves and open our hearts to one another, it's much easier to find love than when we close ourselves off and we say that that is not a possibility. That we have within our power to begin to create that space to find love and to make love a central principle of our lives. And that what our Torah is asking us when it says to love God in our portion doesn't mean that we always love God for what God does. It means that we open ourselves and orient ourselves with an intention to be loving and to find love in those around us. And so, as we celebrate Noah this Shabbat, and we celebrate all the people who are here and their love for you because of the joy and goodness and godliness that you bring into the world, that too is a way in which we fulfill this commandment. Because here's the truth. Our Torah teaches us that every person is created in the image of God. And one of the ways in which we fulfill that commandment of loving God is finding people in the world who are deserving of our love, letting them know that they are loved, and sharing that love. Shabbat Shalom. All right, we're going to turn now to the Baruch Hu, and our bar mitzvah, Noah, is going to lead us. You can find it on page 149. Please rise for this call to prayer.
La 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 Adonai Hamevorah
Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed. And we are seated.
Umavir yom umevi laila mavdil ben yom uvein laila Adonai tzvahot shemo el chai vekayam tamidim lo chaleinu le'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai hama'ari v'aravi.
Page 40.
Ahavad olam beit Yisrael amcha otanu limadeta נשגיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
And our bar mitzvah Noah now leads us in the Shema, the commandment to love, page 41.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol livaha, u'v'chol nafsheha, u'v'chol meodeha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anohi mitzavha. Hayom alivaveha, vishinam tam levaneha, vidibarta bam, vishivteha biveteha, ulafteha v'derech, ushofecha uvumeha, ushartam leot al yadeha, v'hayu litetafot beineneha, uvtavtam. Amizuzot beteha uvishareha.
We turn now to page 44, Micha Mocha, the Song of the Sea.
מלכותו ורצו קיבלו עליהם, משה מרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 45, Hashkivenu, a prayer for peace.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך aleinu sukat shlomecha baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
We rise as we turn to page 46.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
ועלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה
בריחו
לעילא מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירה בעלמא ואמרו
Amen. We remain standing now for the Friday night Amidah recited in silent prayer. It's an opportunity to offer the prayers and meditations of our hearts, as well as to be guided by the words on the page, beginning on page 47. When you've completed your private prayer, you may be seated.
Yisheberach Avotenu Mekor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
May the Holy One who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who brought healing to Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those for whom we now pray, including Shmuel, David, Ben Ephraim, Vabracha Bela, Ari Kenny, Yonah Tzvi, Hakohen Ben Hinda, Yitzchak Ben Gittel, Tom Wigan, Therese Link, Lor Yisrael Ben Rachel, Bat Rivka Bat Sufia, Pat Zalotnik, John Granick, David Ben Elisha, Malka Bat Miriam, Aviva Chana Bat Tova Tikva, Marty Cohen, Leib Aaron Ben Ada, Victoria Bat Pesha, Phyllis Weinstein, David Ben Leah, Yodit Bat Chana, Terry and Adam LaFrance, Eliyahu Ben Shoshana, Meyer David Ben Brindle, Rivka Shendel Bat Chana, Shalom Ben Pesel, Chaim Michel Ben Yocheved, Eliyahu David Ben Yodit Chana, Shira Bat Chaya, Brian Perlman, Anna Boardman, Chaya Bat Rella, Rafael Chaim Ben Sylvia, Froma Elka Bat Esther Achel, Roberta Lipsman, Saravita Bat Esther, Perla Bat Esther, Barak Ben Bracha, and all others for whom we pray. May the Holy One restore them to fullness of health, of body, of mind, of spirit, blessing them, those dedicated to their care, and all others on the journey towards recovery.
Misheberach Imotenu Mekor habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We rise for Aleinu as Noah leads us on page 56. Please rise.
I'll cue you.
Aleinu Shabbat Ladon Hakol Latet Gdula Lotzer Breshit Shelo Sanu Kikuye Haratzot Velo Samanu Mishpahot Hadama Shelo Sam Helkenu Kahem Vegora Lenu Kahol Hamonam Anahnu Korim Umishtahavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Malhei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai Lamelech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad Ushamo echad.
You may be seated. We recognize this week the yahrzeits of Freda Schutzbank, Norman Schutzbank's mother, Jerry Matlick, Ken's father, Abraham Bankendorf, Elliot's father, Stephen Gross, Mark's brother, Pauline Zinman, Ted Zinman's father and Mark's grandfather, Ted's mother and Mark's grandmother, Jeanette Reingold, Judy Reingold's mother-in-law, Erwin Wessel, Bob Wessel's father, Edward Halpern, Jeremy Weingast's brother-in-law, Solomon Mallon, Judy Efron's father, Florence Birnbaum, Todd Schwett's grandmother, Milton Hirsch, Nancy Trout's father, Harriet Weiss, Donna Troisi's mother, Alvin Altman, Patty Becker's father, Len Jacobson, Frank Jacobson's father, Ellen Krell, Mark Krell's sister, Gail Mordecai, Skeeter Marcus's sister, Marion Saltzman, Jamie Levy's mother, Milton Glantz, Barbara Resnick's father, Diane Ruth Kleiner, Norbert Kleiner's late wife, and Anna Lefstein, Geraldine Hyman's grandmother. We pray to Heinish Matam Surot B'Tzruach Hayim, that the souls of all of our loved ones past be bound in the bond of life eternal. I invite mourners, those observing Yahrzeit, and all others remembering loved ones and saying Mourner's Kaddish at this time, to rise in body or spirit and join with me in the words found on page 58. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divera kerutei, ve'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalah u'v'zaman kari ve'imeru, amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam ul'olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpawar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yita'aleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha barich hu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imeru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yoshevei Tevel, ve'imeru. Amen. It's now my pleasure to invite Rob Young from our board of directors to share this evening's announcements. No, you stay there. Or until you're called up. Okay, Noah, walk up to Rob. Yeah. All right. Perfect.
You have to come up because I have to give you your gifts. No, well, first of all, I'm going to give you this because it's heavy and I'm too old to hold that. Congratulations, Noah, on your becoming a bar mitzvah tomorrow. Congratulations to your family. Hey. Noah, the rabbi talked about, all the cool things about your bar mitzvah, and he talked about the connection that you and he have about this particular Shabbat, because it's the anniversary of his bar mitzvah. It's also the anniversary of my bar mitzvah, my becoming a bar mitzvah. Tomorrow, when you're here, you'll see that there'll be 2 or 3 other men who are celebrating the anniversary of their becoming a bar mitzvah. It's a big day in our congregation. So it's especially great for me because last year was the first year that I was not the youngest celebrating the anniversary because Rabbi Green came and he was the youngest. So tomorrow, the rabbi won't be the youngest. But you're also celebrating a special Shabbat Nachamu because it's a supermoon and a meteor shower tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you didn't know that, that is really cool. It doesn't happen that often. Anyway, I want to present you with these gifts. In that bag is a wine cup from the Or Tzion Men's Club, a Jewish National Fund certificate showing that a tree was planted in Israel in your name. There's a certificate to attend a USY event for free from the Or Tzion Youth Department. There's a tzedakah box from Women's League, your own set of Shabbat candle holders from the congregation, and the book Israel Matters from the Center for Jewish Philanthropy. And in your bag, I had a discussion with your mom. There's some really cool chocolate bars. And it's up to you whether you want to share them.
All right.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
You can sit down. Okay, Shabbat Shalom. I have a few announcements for you. Actually, I have a lot of announcements. Thank you to Rabbi Green and Cantor Rubinstein for leading us in service this evening. And of course, thank you to Noah, who will be called tomorrow to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. Thank you to Pam Carson for your technical assistance. Thank you to everyone who has made their gift of the heart commitment. If you haven't yet made your commitment, please check this week's e-bulletin as a link to make yours. Thank you also to the Golubs for greeting this evening. Appreciate that. The Raz Goodell Religious School open house is going to be this Sunday from 10 to 11:30. Religious school starts on Sunday, August 21st at 9 a.m. and Wednesday, August 24th at 4 p.m. Check the e-bulletin to register. If you have any questions, contact our outstanding education director, Andre Ivory. The Social Action Committee is holding its annual blood drive on Sunday, September 18th at 9 o'clock. You can sign up at redcrossblood.org. I'm not sure that's the right address, but you can check our e-bulletin. Mark your calendar. Rabbi Green is going to be leading a trip to Israel April 17th to the 27th, 2023. Details will be available by Rosh Hashanah. If you're interested, please contact Rabbi Green. And my last announcement is Slichot is 37 days from today. The High Holiday Committee prepared a guidebook which is on its way to the congregation. And once you've received it, that means that registration for tickets for services and programming will be open. So read it as soon as you get it, and please sign up for tickets as soon as you get it. Check your weekly e-bulletin for more announcements. There's lots of stuff happening because Slichot is 37 days from today. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rob, for reminding us, Cantor and I, how much work we have to do before the holidays. Looking forward to that, of course. And now we are going to rise for Kiddush on page 55. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'chata ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey!
Shabbat shalom.
Hey! Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Adonai Oz Lamo Yitzen Adonai V'Rachat Amo V'Shalom. Shabbat shalom.